Welcome to Odd Autos. This is Custom or Classic. Welcome back everybody to a new series we're calling Custom or Classic. We're going to get two identical cars and do a classic restoration on one and a custom restoration on the other. What we're hoping is to see which ones you prefer and also which one brings back the most money when we sell them. So we're going to split the body shop in two. Keith, because he's old as f***, is going to take on the classic side and I am going to take on the custom cars. So we're going to start off with a lovely pair of Mk2 Escorts, both of which I own. One needs a little bit of work, the other is a massive rot box. So to make it fair on who gets which car, we've got a little pot with numbers 1 and 2. So 1 is the best one, 2 is the shed. So I'll pick it out. Go on, shake it, Keith. Let's see which one I get. Oh, I get the minter. Well, it's not that mint, but. So I got number 1. So Keith gets the rot box. He's going to enjoy the welding. Right. Let's go and have a look around the first car and get stuck in. So 3 years ago, I ordered 2 Mk2 Escorts 1600 Sports from South Africa. Both were supposedly mint, both were supposedly never been welded and rust free. Unfortunately, this one I sent to the Soda Blasters, this is how I got it back. Before I sent the car to the Soda Blasters, the car looked amazing, which shows how good they are at filler work in South Africa. So for this car, what panels do we need? We need a complete floor pan, a boot floor, both quarters, both front wings, a bonnet, lower and upper bulkhead, heater bowl, 2 doors and a rear panel. We'll get the welding done, probably take about a month, and then we'll get it prepped and in the booth, ready for paint. Let's get cracking.
Yes, at last. 2 weeks in, we've managed to cut all the rot out of the Escort, and it's looking much better now without any of the rust there. Some of this welding, well, actually all of the welding was appalling. Some of the plates were pot riveted on, some had a few tacks on them, and as you can see, not good. Now that all the rubbish has been cut away, it's going to leave a really nice solid shell. We've now placed the car onto a small frame underneath the chassis, and we've also put strengtheners in between the strut braces and in the car body shell itself, so it doesn't stretch and bend when we come to put the new panels on. So the next one to do is to weld in the floors and then do all the top half of the panels, and then after that we'll put it onto a spit, turn it over, and then weld in the underside of the floors. As we go along, we're going to use an epoxy primer which is waterproof, just to protect the body shell from future rust. So let's crack on and get going.
So that's it for part one of this classic Escort build. I have to say it's been a real joy watching Keith's happy smiley face, cutting out all this rust and doing this welding. But the hardest part of this job is now done, and hopefully it's all smooth sailing from now. Holy shit.
Sputter. Is it bad?
Rust. It's all the way around here. I just found surface rust under the primer. So at some point, after the panels were pressed and before the priming, it must have got damp. So, I mean, these panels weren't cheap anyway, and the fitment was shocking. Probably good for a rally car or something that you don't really care about panel gaps, but it's just not great. And what else is hiding under that primer on all the other panels? So the only thing we can do is take all this off every new panel to be 100% sure no more of that's hiding anywhere. Well, that's my good mood just gone up the spout. Right, good news, the bad mood didn't last a long time. We only found rust on the front wings, the doors around the door handle area, and the scuttle was pretty covered. But we've got all that off and give it a bit of rust treatment, and it's prepped and now in the booth on its side, ready for this stuff. So this is Gravitex underbody coating stone chip protector over paintable. Bit of a mouthful. What this does is we paint it on the entire underside of the car and up in the wheel arches, and it stops stones chipping the paint. So because it's like slightly rubberized, a stone would flick up, bounce off, and doesn't affect the paint. Then we're going to etch all the parts of the body what we've bare metaled, and then give it one entire coat inside and out with the high build primer. So no good me talking about this too much. Let's crack on and get Keith working hard. So the high build primer's had a couple of days to go off, and we've sprayed over a little guide coat to help us with the flatting. The car's so close now to being done, I just want to drive the thing. So let's carry on and let's get dusty. What you saying, Keith?
Good. Come on.
He's keen to crack on, so let's get started. So here's the engine that is going in our Escort. It's the original 1600cc engine and the numbers on it match the logbook. So hopefully that'll add a bit more value being totally original. Even though this engine looks tiny, it did put out 84 horsepower. I don't think it's going to do that now because it's been sat around for a while and everything's rusted up, so it needs some work. As you can see, there's a couple of bolts that have snapped off in the engine mount down here, so I've got to drill those out. And all these ports have gone real rusty, so I'd expect inside is going to be the same. So what we're going to do is take the head off, I'm going to relap the valves in, clean everything up, new gaskets all round, new water pump, thermostat. The only thing non-standard on this engine is going to be the distributor. I'm going to swap it out for an electronic ignition one because points are a hassle, they close up, they cause lots of problems. So it's just easier doing that. Right, let's get stripping down and get cracking. Good news, the Escort is all ready, so there's only one thing left to do, the big reveal. So let's get the smoke machine started. Yeah. Come on Keith, get in, let's go for a burn. Let's go and unleash all 85 horsepower
Unleash the beast.
of this car.
Okay. So you, Mike, and I'm Ed.
I ain't taller than no, you're taller than me.
Yeah. Just do the hair.
Well, if I'm going to be Mike, I've got to have, I've got to have more hair.
No, you got to lose a bit of weight, mate. Cost us 45 grand.
Yeah,
But we're still going to make 3 grand profit.
yeah. I bought the car for 10 grand. We've spent 5 grand in parts, and I'm going to put the car up for 16 grand, even though it took us 4 months to do it.
And take offers on 10. Name that show.
Oh, here we go, the jumps, ready? To be fair, that ain't bad though.
No.
That's 60 in like, what? It's going to be more than 10 seconds, probably that, won't it? I'll check back on the video.
Yeah.
It's quite soft. Quite soft. It's quiet-ish for a classic car. It's not as quiet as the Audi, obviously, but
It goes along in a straight line unless you come to a corner.
Yeah, the brakes work, which is good.
Yeah. With the new reservoir on.
Yeah.
And you didn't break this one.
So if you see some pictures of the engine bay and there's a big black sticker over the brake fluid reservoir, that's because I put my thumb through it when I was fitting it. So I've got a new one now, which is good, and it's on there. I reckon it's probably that panel wipe to clean it. And made it brittle.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, it's your fault.
Yeah.
You cleaned it.
Yeah. The brake cleaner softened it up.
So what have I bought on this thing then? I've bought disc pads, wheel bearings, shocks, all the switches because they fell apart, all the seals, roof lining, carpet, seats which we've got to get done, exhaust, electronic distributor, electronic ignition, battery, pretty much remade the wiring loom because there was like 3 old alarms on it. The grill's new, the badges, the rear lights are new.
Yes.
Number plates, obviously.
Yes. Stickers.
What was the paint in the end? How much was that? It was that ICO, wasn't it?
Yeah, about 600.
600 quid for the paint. But the paint looks mint. Right, and now we're going off-road. Ready?
Yep.
There we go. That was the off-road test.
Well, the floor held up anyway.
Yeah. Here we are, back at home. Oh, it's mega hot.
Yeah, it's nice. Have to have a cool cup of hot coffee.
Yeah. Alright, you get the kettle on.
Oh, that'll make a change.
Well, I'm chuffed with what we done, mate.
Yeah, so
Good job.
Good job.
Good job. High five.
Pat on the back.
Let's go. And there we go, folks. That is the first part of our series done with the classic Escort being completed. So now it's on to the custom one. I have to say it was a massive job, one of the biggest we've ever done here with the welding and the bodywork, but Keith has done a mint job. Some of the keen-eyed viewers out there will see that the front seats are not correct because we're still waiting for some to come through. And also the wheels, we've got to find some steel wheels. So if anybody out there has got any seats or wheels, just give us a bow. And also we've got a new screen coming next week because this one's got some scratches in. Unlike TV where they jump in, start the car and go off all hunky-dory, stuff doesn't always work like that. So driving around, every time I went round a corner I could smell fuel and I was like, that's not right. Got it back here and checked and the fuel cap seal had split. Luckily the fuel had spilled down the side, not affected the paint, but ripped all those lovely new stickers off. Brilliant. So it just goes to show, no matter how careful you are on trying to replace everything, stuff always goes wrong. It's an old car. It's just going to happen. So money-wise, I was going to put it up for £19,000 to £20,000, but I've already been offered 25 by 3 different people.
But you're giving it to me.
Yeah. I'm going to look after it for now and keep it myself until the custom one's done, and then we can get it side by side and see the differences of the both cars. So remember, if you've got any thoughts about how to modify the custom one, write it in the comments below. I've already got pretty much in mind what I'm going to do, but always good to have other opinions. So make sure you click that subscribe button and the notification bell, and you'll see when the first video comes up of the custom one. So from me, I'll say see you again, and from Keith,
See you later.
bye-bye.
Bye.